and we got to talk about it because he's a fan favorite of ours.
Oh yeah,
Mr. Dyche is back at the wheel. Look, if you had told me that Dyche was going to take over from Nuno, I would have understood it right away because that's just the style that they play. But not to say that I'm concerned. We already talked the last episode just about their project and how I haven't enjoyed the way that their ownership group has taken it. But I want to talk about just the manager in this spot with this team and how they can get results and how they can perform better than they currently have. So, Mila, with that in mind, what do you think about this appointment?
I think you nailed it. If they replaced Nuno, it would have made complete sense. The styles, just what he has at his disposal. But I think they held on to Nuno, even though they knew that that relationship had deteriorated. And then you go and give his squad to Ange, who kind of just plays the opposite style of football to what the players he was offered are able to do and what they're used to. And then we're back here. It just seems like the safe move, but also like it's just a confusing situation overall, I think, because they were flying last season.
They were one win away from Champions League.
Yeah, and now we're in safe mode, which is like, okay, I get the hiring of Dyche for the situation you are in, but how did we let it get to this? If you're a Nottingham Forest fan, I'm sure you're wondering how did we get here in such a short period of time? And
yeah,
fingers point to the owner, but
Mr. Marinakis.
It's crazy though. Like this,
it is crazy.
This is just blown up so quickly and
incredibly fast. Yeah,
in a relegation battle.
Yeah,
I don't have much to say on this because once this guy gets a job, for me, it's pretty clear where
like you're at
for the season.
Battleships at the ready. Like you're
and if he does a little better, then
I might be a bit too optimistic, Mila. I think
optimistic for what? What does that mean?
The appointment of Dyche. Obviously, I agree with your sentiment of as soon as Dyche comes in, you know what the job at hand is, right? Like we're concerned about getting relegated. We need to stay up. Forest are such a weird situation because they've pretty much rebuilt every transfer window. They just keep signing players where at least a few of them bring up a where are they going to play question. I don't think Dyche, has he ever had this many tools in terms of firepower, modern Premier League, the amount of spending there is. I think especially Europa League, that can get really interesting. The Prem, maybe not so much, but they're still in Europa League. I think especially really any English team should have an advantage there in terms of assets, how much money they've spent. Surely they should have a decent enough team to compete, but I think Nottingham Forest, that might turn into, I wouldn't say priority, but especially if safety seems like not a problem, which I think Dyche would be able to do. I don't know. I think it could be a really interesting appointment. I don't think he's the guy to get you to the top of the mountain by any stretch, but I definitely like the appointment for sure.
Yeah, the squad is too talented to be a relegation team, and I think they won't be because of that. With that being said, Dyche is a 1.3 point per match manager. Like that's his level. Yeah. It doesn't matter what talent's in front of him. This same talent is the Everton squad that Moyes took over pretty much.
No, much different. He was working with nothing at Everton.
No, but like in terms of the
Abdoulaye Doucouré was his top scorer, I think, at Everton at one point.
That is but that's a sentiment to what Dyche does. That's his style of play. That's not because he has
I agree. I do agree with that. Everton did not have much to work with. They brought in a lot of his guys, to be fair. But
like, look,
Everton were a very limited club at the time in terms of what they could get done financially.
Yeah, it's just I don't see them being a good team with him. I see them being a decent side, a side that is hard to play against, and that is a fall from grace from a team that was
the ceiling would be like a 12th place finish for you.
No, I don't think the ceiling is close to that. I don't.
Okay, what are you thinking?
I currently think it's like 16th.
Yeah.
Because I think that they are going to get ransacked in January. You don't have this type of turmoil in the players in the dressing room. Look, the questions that they're being asked, like Yates was
Ryan Yates' interview was nuts.
Yeah, like that stuff doesn't sit well with players.
I think.
No, he didn't even play.
No,
He just had to do the
no, he
interview.
just got ransacked. Yeah, and
He's the
That's the
captain,
issue.
but
But look
still,
at
he
the
didn't
makeup
play.
of this team.
he
I
had to
think
speak because he's the
all
captain, right?
It's so
yeah,
awful.
he is the captain, but all the people that played in his position all play a pretty similar position. That's what the squad is built up of. It's gonna
Luis,
work great for
Sangare,
what
Anderson
Dyche
all
wants to do,
starting.
but
Yeah.
there's no attacking talent really in that squad to
I think they
fight
have.
with the rest of the league. I don't think so.
I
Not with the
just
rest
don't
of
know
them
Unproven.
what
behind
I
them. There's
think
no
they're totally
creativity.
unproven. But like,
There's no
I mean, obviously
creativity.
they have Gibbs White. They spent a lot of money on Amari Hutchinson. They brought in Igor
Igor.
Jesus. Ndoye, he didn't even touch the field.
No, he's you know what they have some attacking
Who's
talent.
gonna make that goal for them? They got guys that can put the ball in the back of the net, I think. But who's gonna
Chris
make
Wood
it?
Well, I
might
think
become
Dyche loves
viable
Chris
striker
Wood.
again, but like
That could be a
I-
possibility. I just
I
don't.
think that
I don't see how they're gonna go forward.
Hudson Odoi.
we talked about how Forest last year was this like super pragmatic sit back counter, and they were
Yep.
just killing their XG numbers, right? And then once
Yeah,
that
yeah.
reverted back to the
Overperformed.
mean, once
Mhm.
that reverted back to the mean, it was game over. They
Yeah.
literally went on like 5 games losing. That's why Nuno was on the outs.
I think
Is this
Nuno.
team? Is the confidence there to even do that?
I do
No,
agree
I
with
don't
that,
think so.
Dylan. That was important to mention. I don't think this was a Champions League level team last year. I think it's very important to mention they were overperforming in a lot of games for probably 3/4 of the season, and
Yeah.
they regressed to the mean at the end. But realistically, I think where did they finish? 6th, 7th place. That's still very impressive. And again, all things considered, they probably overperformed last year. So realistically, the expectation, let's say they kept Nuno, there was no turmoil, whatever. They finished like 10th. Yeah, I can kind of understand that. So 16th might not be too bad of a shout when you look at it with all the context, but
Here, let me list
still
off
just
the
crazy
teams,
fall off.
and we'll get to where we think Forest kind of finish, and then we'll just end the
Their
discussion
third
there.
manager this year. I think that's all that needs to be said.
It's true. And it is
So
October.
let me just work
It's
from the bottom, and
October,
we can
yeah.
kind of gauge it there, right? Because
Sure.
I think I can make some pretty good opinions on certain teams right now towards the bottom, where I'm like they're going to be in that fight the whole time. So
Mhm.
Wolves, I think they're better than Wolves. I think they're better than West Ham. They're currently sitting in 18th. Then ahead of them is Burnley, Leeds, Fulham, Newcastle, Brentford. I don't
Yeah,
anticipate Newcastle
see why I
being
said
there.
16th. See why I said 16th.
I don't anticipate Fulham being there. I don't anticipate Brentford being in that race. So you're down to Leeds, Burnley, West Ham, Wolves, and them.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it, Dylan. I mean, I think Sunderland is a wild, a rogue shout to come back just because they're a newly
Sure.
promoted team, but I don't think they would come to this level. It's so early, though. A lot of things can change, but to your point, as it stands, I think 16th is a good shout considering that's kind of the pack of teams they belong with so far.
Yeah.
Maybe even 17th, man.
Currently
Yeah,
tied with
no, just as
Wolves
the ceiling. I see why you
for
said 16.
Mhm. On paper, like you guys were saying, I think they
the
overperformed, and
talent's
I think
there.
a lot of that could be Nuno just got the best out of them for that span of time. that
Definitely
purple
did.
patch. Like we were just saying, third manager this season, not even November yet. They could be on their fourth manager before the end of the year, not even the end of the season.
Yeah,
Dangerous.
So to
if the
expect
results don't
anything out
go
of this
right.
squad is crazy to me. 16th, I think, is me being generous to them. Ceiling. 16th.
Yeah.
Well,
I've
let it
got
be
a
known
feeling
I am higher on Forest than you guys.
Hey, that's fine. I think Anderson's going to be gone in January, if I'm being completely honest
Europa
with you.
League quarterfinals.
January? I don't think so.
I think he goes in January because he's not going to be as
Who's gonna
expensive
buy
after
him?
the World Cup.
Gibbs White, definitely.
Gibbs White could be gone too.
Option.
United will buy Anderson if he's available for a decent fee.
Then they're definitely not getting 16.
180 million.
If
No.
those two go, then it's
I
done.
think his cap is 50, 60. I think you get that in January. I just don't know if you get that in if there's a chance to
Where did he
relegate.
go for? Because he was one of the PSR deals, so you also have to take that into account. I think
Yeah.
that alone inflates his next fee. I think he'd go
Not
especially in
if you're a
January.
shit club and your guys are asking out because
Yeah,
they have.
Murray
I think
Hutchinson
with
went
that
for
whole
40 in the championship. I just think it's a new market. That's just an
Championship
opinion, though.
costs more.
championship to
This is why
I
people
think
don't buy from the championship.
I think that
Watch that
Forrest
video
could
too.
be in trouble. Like Mila was saying, if they're on another manager, like players are it's going to be like the market.
It's a problem.
Trash.
Yes, you're right.
It could now look, they could right the ship with him, and then we don't even have these conversations anymore, and they're back to 10th.
When it comes to teams that are not my own, I'm the joyful optimist. I think
this situation is just really brutal.
It's
I
horrific.
can't see it. I just
it's
can't
a horrific
see it.
situation.
Yeah,
it's the right man for the job.
Maybe.
All right.